Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you a springtime card. Let's get started. So to kick things off, I've gone ahead and cut out an oval shape with the stitched oval stackables by Fawn, and we are going to be using Fawn's Mermaid ink as well as their Hillside stencil, and I want to make sure that I get a lot of ink texture with this mermaid ink. Now I'm not being too particular with my blend to be even because grass is never even in blending, I find anyway. So I'm just tapping in some bristle marks here, maybe to give a little bit of texture. As you can see, it almost looks, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. It looks like something. I'm going in with my left hand now, and then I'll go back in with my right hand. I'm really not being scientific with this in the least. I just want to lay down as much texture and color as I have. And don't worry, this won't dry like this. This will dry back just a smidge, and it'll even out a little bit more. So once I'm satisfied with the amount of mermaid I have put onto the bottom of this cardstock, we are going to go ahead and take off those magnets, and then we are going to switch that down. And then we are going to go ahead and grab some of the kiddie pool, and I've cleaned off my brush as best as I can, and we're going to go in with that cloudy stencil. Now, I never know which way to put my clouds, so I just kind of let the clouds talk to me, and I go back and forth a few times to figure out which I like best. And the neat thing about this stencil is that some of the clouds actually will line up with each other's bumps, like I'm doing here. So I'm just creating a bit of a pattern here with what I had, and then I just kind of got rid of that little bottom hillside thing, because honestly this is such a light color that it won't matter if I go into the Merman ink, because this is a lighter color as long as I don't go too heavy-handed, and it won't show up on the ink itself, like the mermaid ink, if you know what I mean. I don't know, I'm making a mess of things today. So once I'm happy with the placement of that, I'll go ahead and go in with some more ink. Like I said, you kind of got to let the clouds speak to you. So whichever way the clouds roll, that's about the direction that you're going to go in. And I always struggle sometimes. Well, I always struggle sometimes. That's a weird statement. I do struggle sometimes, not always, but sometimes, with which direction I want the clouds to go in, because if you do it the same way every time, you get the same clouds every time, and I don't know, I like to switch things up a smidge here. As you can see, I'm just like, how am I going to do this? I'm going to add that back in when I really don't need it, because the kiddie pool is so much lighter than the mermaid ink. So once I'm happy with that, I will go in with the last of it. Don't worry, we're almost done. I'm sorry. So we will go ahead on that last little cloud there. And once I'm satisfied with how much ink that I've gone, I will go ahead and do one little more, because I like to add insult to injury when it comes to punishment, especially to myself. So once I'm satisfied, I'll add just a smidge more of that blue just to soften that white up a bit, and we have our finished clouds. So next we are going to take this freshly cut lavender, or fresh lavender ink, and we are going to go around the edges of our card panel, because I do not have any of the coordinating cardstock to go with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and go all willy-nilly with this and go all over our panel, because I've gone mad at this point. And while I'm going mad, I should probably tell you the premise for this card. You see, over on Instagram, a bunch of us Canadian card makers have gotten together and created projects for Hollow Tree Hobbies Instagram page. And as the time of this, I think we have until Friday, which is the 5th, or maybe it's the 6th. Don't quote me on it. Maybe I should pull it up and check myself, so I'll do that right now. It says the Hollow Tree Hobbies Hop and Giveaway. Each of us will be sharing spring-themed projects with brands that can be found on the Hollow Tree Hobbies website. So if you head over to my Instagram account, or if you head over to the Hollow Tree Hobbies account, and drop a comment on everybody in the hop their project, you enter for a chance to win a $25 gift card to Hollow Tree Hobbies. And this is only open to Canada and the United States, as she only ships to North America. And I mean, we've got a great lineup. We've got Nunty, we've got Laura Creates, Scrappin' in Watten Wild, if I'm saying that right, Peggy Ann, Paper Crafts, Let's Get Lizical, Maker Moose, and Les Créations du Beau. If I've said that right, I'm sorry, Nat. If I haven't, please forgive me, I'm not much of a French speaker. So next we have gone ahead and cut and colored all of our little images off camera, and we are going to take our little eggs and we are going to add those to the back of our basket. And once we're satisfied with that, we're going to go ahead and line that up and see how we like it. And I think that looks quite well. And we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit more glue to the back. Now you could use a little bit of foam tape, and you could prop this up with some foam tape or any of the other images for that matter that we are going to use in this little scene here. But I don't know, there's something about liquid glue and the fact that I'm running low on foam tape. I've got a big roll of foam tape, but it's ultra sticky and it's black. For some reason, I thought it would be a good idea to get extra sticky, thick black foam tape, which I seldom ever use. I don't think it was a very good idea on my part, but you know, I gotta work through it. But all my other little thin foam squares are kind of in the wind. Kind of used most of them, and I need to purchase some more, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So this is another area that you could probably use a little tiny bit of foam tape, but we're just going to use some straight glue and glue these adorable little chicks down in front of our little basket. Like they're so happy, there's a whole bunch of eggs in their basket, and they don't really know it's Easter. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit more glue to this guy over here, and we'll plop them down right about there, and they just look so happy. And we'll give that a good mash down. So next we are going to take our little panel here that we've glued down our quilted backdrop onto our ink smooshed panel. And then we're going to add some glue around our little oval here with some hearts and dots. We're going to stand above the project and eyeball where that needs to be. So I want to make sure that that's relatively center, and then we'll give that a good mash down. And because I want to be a little bit extra, I have gone ahead and cut out some of the tulips from the Carrot About You. So we've got the extra amazing Easter with the little chicks in the basket and the eggs. And we're using the flowers from the Carrot About You, or Carrot About You, Carrot About You, Carrot About You, Carrot About You. Oh goodness. We've got the quilted backdrop die, the stitched oval, the hillside stencil, the cloudy stencil, the fresh lavender ink, the kiddie pool, and the mermaid ink. Oh, and then this adorable little bow right here, which I think is absolutely cute. And this one, I believe, came from the Eggstra Amazing set. And I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to put the bow. I thought about putting the bow on the basket, but I don't know, it kind of took away from the little chicks, and I thought the little chicks were just enough. So I thought I would create a banner of sorts with the tulips and the bow. And I know they don't necessarily go together because it just makes no sense, but that's the fun thing about cards, is that they don't necessarily have to make sense if they go together. You'll have to forgive my niece is texting me right now while I'm trying to do a voiceover, and I forgot to turn off my notifications, so thanks, niece. So next up, we have some Wink of Stella, and we're just going to go around the eggs just to make them look all shiny and sparkly, because at the time it was Easter when I made this, or Easter was coming up. Now that it is after Easter, we're calling this a springtime card because I had my fill of chocolate. Even though I'm not supposed to have chocolate, I ate chocolate because it's Easter, and I'm at that age where my mom thinks I'm too big to get an Easter basket. So I had to make one for me and Mr. Krafts, which just consisted of a drugstore bag full of discounted chocolate. So once I'm done with that, next we have to put our down on our card base. And we're going to add a little bit of glue around the edges here to make sure that we get a good adhesion and nothing lifts up. And then we'll scribble all willy-nilly in the middle here, just a whole bunch of swirls. And that's the one thing I like about this Fairly Arts glue nozzle, is that it's nice and thin and small, and you don't get a dollop of glue, and it just comes out really nice. So I'll make sure to stand above my project, line that up so I get that cute little white border around the edge there, give it a good mash down, and here is my finished card. I really hope that you enjoyed today's project, and as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.